Bert Kreischer is a stand-up comedian well known for his story of his past involvement with the Russian mafia. A story that gave him the nickname, The Machine. Glorifying his past actions, however, may have come back to haunt him, as one of the people he stole from seeks justice and maybe even revenge. Now Bert, as well as his father, are taken as hostages to Russia, where they are to make good with the mafia leader and find what was lost long ago. This is The Machine. The Machine is a new action comedy starring Bert Kreischer and Mark Hamill, and is based, well, loosely based, on one of Bert Kreischer's famous stories, one where he got involved with the Russian mafia. Now, I'm not an avid watcher of stand-up comedians, and to be honest, I wasn't too well aware of Bert Kreischer's existence before this film. I was just happy to see that Gibby from iCarly was still getting work. But the trailer to this film really intrigued me. A father-son comedy starring Mark Hamill as the father set in Russia just seems like a really fun time, and yeah, it's exactly that. The Machine may take a while to get its gears going, but when it starts, it doesn't stop, and it's a lot of fun. But the most impressive part to me is that even if you aren't aware of the comedian's stand-up performances, this is still a more than enjoyable movie. If you can believe it, Bert Kreischer is great at playing himself, delivering some good slapstick comedy as well as just being a really good comedic action hero. This film really leans into the dad bod character type, and I do want to point this out because I do think this is important to a criticism I have later. He is playing himself, but like a movie-ized version of himself. Delivering an equally as great, if not better at times, performance is Mark Hamill. Since it seems that he might be done with Star Wars, can we please get more Mark Hamill movies like this? Because he is so good in everything that he does. He delivers some really funny lines and he plays a really good dad. I would love to see more movies like this starring Mark Hamill. I think that would be a much worthy investment on Hollywood's part. Also, I just want to throw this out there. Casting Jimmy Turturro as young Bert Kreischer was pretty spot on. Not since Josh Brolin played young Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black 3 have I seen such a good casting choice. Now, if you're the type of person who doesn't exactly keep up with stand-up comedians and watch every special they release on Netflix, maybe you would expect to not enjoy the film. I can assure you, that's definitely not going to be the case. Because at face value, this film is just a really fun father-son action comedy. You can imagine this film is about a fictional comedian and his father getting into trouble in Russia, and it'd be just as good, if not better at times. The Russian characters are a bit over the top and goofy, but I just think that adds to the film's charm. And I think it's a smart move on Kreischer's part to not alienate people that don't know him. Because after this movie, I want to see more of his performances, and I wouldn't be shocked if that's why he made the film. Now, I'm not too sure how much of this film is actually based on true events. Like, I can believe that he got drunk in college and partied with the mafia. I can believe that for some reason. People in Hollywood have some really crazy stories, and that just seems in tune with it. And obviously anything that happens in the modern day didn't happen at all. I probably didn't need to write that one out for anyone though. But there are some aspects that I feel as if were added to the past involvement with the mafia to add a certain conflict to the film. And that's not bad. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the fact that Bert Kreischer just plays Bert Kreischer. Again, I think he's really good in the film, but there are some moments and some lines that just come off as either really mean-spirited or downright idiotic. A character like Peter Griffin works in his absolutely heinous existence because he's a character. And now that isn't to say anything that Kreischer does in this film is as heinous as something Peter Griffin has done, because Peter Griffin's done a lot of bad stuff. But we enjoy Peter Griffin because he's a character. Now, to the film's credit, it does try to frame Bert Kreischer as a character too, but it's really hard to get into that when he has the exact same name as the top billed star. Last year's Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent did do something a bit similar, having Nicolas Cage essentially play himself in a movie. However, Nicolas Cage played Nick Cage, and that's a minor distinction, but it makes a big difference when you're viewing the character in the movie and the real life person. I'm not too sure if I made that distinction in my review last year. Just know I'm making note of it now. But I also completely understand that there's a certain novelty to seeing a real-life stand-up comedian fight the Russian mafia. I completely understand that, and I had a lot of fun with it too. My complaints here are really nothing movie-ruining, but it's definitely something that threw me off in certain scenes. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. Bert Kreischer and Mark Hamill are a really great duo in this film. And it's a funny, entertaining father-son action comedy film in Russia. What's there not to love? I hope you all enjoyed this review, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Oh, and by the way, check out the website. Until next time, comrades, I am Quentin Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.